Like, how do we do it? Let's see. Hey, we are live on RadioFubar.com. This is the Chris Break Show. All right, that felt good. This is the Chris Break Show. I am Chris Break. I'm sitting here with my good friend, John Rapp.
Hello.
My mouth feels a little more salival than normal.
That should be good for the sound of your voice, right?
I mean, it's well lubricated, but since I have this condenser mic, I got to be careful that I'm not.
Right.
You know,
yeah,
like,
that's a major no-no. It's very gross.
I know, it's really gross. I don't want, because it's bad enough. I used to, when I was younger, I mean, it still happens every once in a while, but sometimes I would just have spit in my mouth, you know?
Right.
You know, I had like excess, maybe not excess, but I didn't swallow.
Right.
And when I would talk to people, sometimes it would come out. Or when I, speak, you can hear it. I just don't want it to be heard. Hear my voice, I don't want I can't do it, but you can tell when they're spit in somebody's mouth.
Yeah, I'll let you know if I hear it.
It's bad enough when you spit when you talk, which I don't normally do.
Yeah,
but
if you're doing that, you got extra saliva for sure.
But if you can hear the spitting when you talk, that is a problem. And these mics just pick up everything. I don't know what that noise is.
Warren Rodwell is calling.
Okay.
So I answer him?
I don't know. I thought we were going to get to him later.
Yeah, that was the plan. So.
Put him on. Or did you already hit deny?
No, here we go. On with Warren Rodwell. Hello?
Hello?
Hello there.
Hey, this is Warren Rodwell on the Chris Break Show. Hello.
Oh, great. You can hear me.
Yeah, we're live on the air. You sound like you're not wearing the headset.
I just have to adjust it.
Okay. What was I going to talk?
A bit early.
Can we call you back, sir?
Yeah, no problem. You do that.
All right, thank you.
I forgot what you were talking about. Warren Rodwell kind of interrupted. What were you talking about?
Oh,
Saliva in the mouth? And
I don't even know. That wasn't even important. That's just what was going on in my head when I started talking.
Well, it sounds good. What you got going with the voice over there, it sounds good.
Well, as you heard, we got Warren Rodwell coming on the show today.
Yeah. He's in Australia. It's a day ahead over there, so. It
is. That's pretty insane how that works. It's Friday at 8 in the morning, 10 in the morning.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, that's not important. He was, we had him on before. If you don't remember him, he's the gentleman who was kidnapped and held hostage by Islamic terrorists, and he made some interesting comments about Americans, to a degree. So we're going to talk to him about exactly what other people, other countries think of Americans. And this guy used to teach English across the world, so he knows something about what everybody thinks about Americans. And I'm dying to find out, to be honest with you. We might even connect Dale J. Gordon on the call.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be good if we can get him on there.
I know the 40-ounce pimp wanted to get in on that.
Yeah, he was calling before we even started the show.
Yeah, that should be interesting. What was that? Oh, the noises are back on with the Skype.
Yeah, but if you remember last time, I turned them back on because we couldn't hear Warren. So I was like, well, the only change I made was I turned these stupid sounds off. So let me go turn them back on. So I'm going to go turn them off again.
What was the problem last time? We solved it.
It was Warren, I guess. Whatever Warren had going on, he had to, and then all of a sudden he clicked, and he clicked something, and then we could hear him.
All right, well that's good. What did I want to tell you today? We got some interesting stuff that happened. More people talking about the Chris Break Show.
Yeah.
Would play that clip of the podcast. There's this guy named Paul Culligan who does the podcast report, and we're fans of him. We listen to the show all the time. And John happened to notice in one of the episodes, he said, "Hey, if you want to announce your show, what did he want? He wanted an opening. He wanted an intro for his show." And
right.
He basically said, just record a few second intro that says, "Hi, I'm so-and-so from the such and such podcast where we talk about X, and you're listening to the podcast report with Paul Culligan."
I think that's pretty much verbatim exactly what he said, including X.
Yeah. He did say X. So John got the idea that we should do that ASAP, and we did. And he actually played it. And I think we might have done a little more than he actually wanted. I think he even What did he even said?
He had some comments about it.
Well, he said when he announced that he wanted people to record this, he said, "Don't make it a commercial."
Oh yeah, I think I didn't even read that part of it, so or hear that part of it when he said it. I didn't write that down in my notes, so just wrote down that he wants us to do an intro. So we did the intro.
Yeah, we did. Let's play it.
Podcast Report episode number 19. Do podcast directories matter anymore? thepodcastreport.com/19.
Hey, this is Chris Brake from The Chris Brake Show.
This is John from The Chris Brake Show.
We are from The Chris Brake Show, live every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern on Radio Fubar, radiofubar.com, or go to chrisbrakeshow.com for past episodes.
We just want to jump in here real quick and let you know that Paul Colligan is a close personal friend of ours, and he has our explicit professional endorsement as being a guy who definitely knows a lot about podcasting.
If you want to have a successful podcast, follow what this guy is about to tell you.
So again,
this is Chris Brake from The Chris Brake Show.
This is John from The Chris Brake Show.
And you are listening to the Podcast Report with Paul Colligan.
Yep, an introduction from another podcast on the Podcast Report. That's something I agreed to in a previous episode, and the offer is still open. If you'd like to promote your show in my show's pre-roll, go ahead and send me that promotion to the Podcast Report at outlook.com. Make it a little less markety, a little less pushy than what you heard this time, but these guys went first, and gosh darn it, I love the first movers. I love the people who take action.
He goes, that is something I agreed to.
like he did not. It's one of those. It's like you make a bet or you say something when you're drunk, and then you decide you don't really want it the next day. But
right, wake up with that.
Technically, I did say I was going to help you move, so I guess I have to. He said, "It is something I agreed to." You could tell he didn't want to play it. We got made an example of, John. He used us as an example. He said, make it a little less markety, a little less pushy. Are we pushy bastards?
I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe, but, I think it was a good spot.
Yeah, it was good. It promoted him and us. I thought that was the whole point.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought of when we were doing it. It's like...
Get the name out.
Get the name out there. If someone just hears, hey, we're the Chris Brake Show, you're listening to Paul Colligan, you're not going to remember that. You're not going to care about that.
No, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Who gives a shit about these knuckleheads who say they're from the Chris Brake Show where they talk about, I don't know what we talk about. That's the problem. I don't know what's going on here half the time.
Right.
I don't think the audience knows what's going on here half the time.
I think that may be some of the interest. That's what makes it cool.
That guy.
Thanks. Shout out to Paul Colligan for including that.
Thank you for playing that. We do appreciate that. John, I like your script you wrote for that. That was my favorite part. Somehow you worked in the name of our show like 8 times.
Yeah.
8 times. If only we had Sarah here to record it, we could have worked it in more times because she would have got to say, I'm Sarah from the Chris Brake Show.
Yeah.
And it just would have kept going.
Yeah, it would have been about 10 or 12 times.
We should have called every single person who's been on our show and had them record one.
Oh, that would have been great. That would be awesome.
So there'd be a list of 10 people,
Yeah.
I'm Dale J. Gordon from the Chris Brake Show. Hey, I'm Warren Rodwell from the Chris Brake Show.
Coolio from the Chris Brake Show. What Coolio? What? This Coolio.
We got. Next time we gotta do that. We gotta send some really obnoxious, never-ending intro.
Yeah.
And make it longer than it shows. These shows are only like 14 minutes.
A marathon. And make it good so he wants to play it.
And for the record, I will give that guy a shout out. If you are starting a podcast or want to know stuff about podcast, he is a guy to listen to. Like, I get a lot from him. And I like him because he doesn't do the technical aspect bull. He does, like, it's almost like motivational. It's like you're listening to, what's his name? Tony Robbins?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like he just goes on and on about just what podcasting can be.
Right.
What it can be. Is it a channel or is it a format? It can be whatever you want. You're thinking too small. There's too many things in the way. You're making it too hard. Podcasting is a very simple format. And a lot of people don't understand that. You can use podcasting for anything that you want. You just have to think about it and you can make it happen. Everything's too small. Nobody's actually using a podcast to its full potential. Why stop at a podcast? Why not take your podcast and turn it into text? And he's right. That's a great idea. I think we're probably doing everything that he said to do.
Yeah.
At some point, we have full intention of doing that. And the best part is we know that we're geniuses because we had already planned on doing that before we heard him say it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he confirms that we're on the right track, but he also keeps you accountable. Every week I like to listen to it, and it just kind of reminds you of the right way to do things, so you don't get off track.
He bumps my spirit.
Yeah.
We're giving this guy a better play than he gave us.
All right, moving on. We've got another show appearance that we want to play. This one was in Scotland. I think it's pretty impressive. Chris Break show reaching to Scotland.
A Scotsman. Now, what exactly, John, how did this get set up? How did you what did you do here? Because you're at the forefront of this.
I saw the guy on LinkedIn in a group, and I saw that he has a radio station, so I messaged the radio station and said, hey, would you be interested in playing our show? Here's info about it. And then he messaged us, Chris Break Show account, back on LinkedIn, and he said, hey, I'd like to be on your show sometime. Do you think your listeners would like Scottish humor? And I was like, I don't know. I didn't know you were a comedian or anything. I thought you had a radio station. But so he said, I'll let you know what some Scottish examples of Scottish humor are, kind of in my next show. So he kind of talked about us, but he definitely mangled a couple names and stuff. It's a pretty funny clip. This guy sounds really cool.
He called you James.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome.
And anytime anyone says that they were talking to me, chances are they were not. But they say that like, a Chris Break sent me this, or Chris Break did this.
Right.
If it's me, you're going to know it's me,
Yeah,
I think.
Well, you sign it,
Yeah, we all sign it.
Yeah, I try to sign it every time and say John, but some people don't see that, and that's understandable. But
some people call you James.
Yeah, and
the other problem is I get called John all the time, and you probably get called Chris. And even friends of ours, when they don't see us, they'll ask me how Chris is doing. And in my head, I'm thinking I'm fine, but I know you're probably talking about John Rap. It happens all the time. Even Kendall from the Public Blogger, he does that constantly.
Yeah.
He'll be on the phone with both of us. We like to meet with that guy every once in a while and trade stuff, goodness, ideas. And he will call me John constantly and ask how Chris is doing, even though he knows. He knows who I am.
I'll tell you who's got it under control. Dora Arg. She's pretty good about it.
Arg.
Dora Arg. She told me to tell you hi. So there you go.
Hey, Dora. I think I saw that. Did I not reply to that? I don't know. Dora Arg.
Yeah, she's good at blogs. She's pretty cool.
Send her your regards. I read that. I read a message that said, send regards to Chris. I know he doesn't check these, and maybe I didn't. Maybe I forgot to reply to that. Another good friend Jessica Klein said some interesting stuff about my quote-unquote artwork.
The Daily Doodle.
My daily doodles. ChrisBreakShow.com daily doodles on there. Doodle daily.
She did have quite some comments. What did she say?
She put my art into I don't know. Is it called art? Anyway, she put I'm going to call it art. Herein referred to as art. She put my art into a genre. She called it something,
right.
Because you know how some people have, is it Impressionism? Is it, Deco? I don't know, the Renaissance.
Right.
All
different
these
styles of art.
Yeah, all these different styles and genres. And she put mine into one and said, I believe it's classified as, I don't remember what she said, but it was something interesting. I basically looked up the definition of it. First, I looked up pictures, and it did look like my art is what she said it was. But the picture or the definition sounded like it was done by people in mental institutions or people who are not artists. Outsider
Really?
art. Was it called outsider?
Outsider art? I'm trying to look here.
Yeah, I believe she called it outsider.
And she asked you if you considered it that. She was like, am I correct in calling it that?
I think so.
You can definitely say that's not what you were going for, right?
No, I don't know what I'm doing, but I think that's the whole point. I think that's what it's defined as, is people who don't know what they're doing, who do stuff.
Here's what she said.
Outsider art. You got that?
Yeah, I'm like waiting for the old Mozilla. Good old Mozilla.
I paused because, you said, here's what she said.
I know, right? Yeah, I had my finger on the button, but it'll be about 2 seconds. But why don't we play that clip of the Scottish thing, right?
We were going to play that clip, weren't we?
Yeah. All right, I'm going to play the clip.
John Rapp is going to play the clip. I'm Chris Break. In case you forgot, we're available on ChrisBreakShow.com, live on RadioFubar.com. Go.
I understand we have a new listener this evening. We have a guy. Now, I don't know exactly. I can't remember exactly where he was. I think it's New York. I'm not sure. I think it's New York.
Indianapolis.
And he apparently does a talk show on a radio station in America. His name is Chris Brake. So, Chris, or who's the other one? James. If any of you two guys are listening, welcome along here to our little station. And we'll do our best to entertain you. Now, you asked for some Scottish humour. Well, me, myself, I mean, I'm not a comedian. I'm not a Billy Connolly. But what I can do to you is, I mean, there are one or two things here that I found on the internet that may be interesting to you. For example, a caller to the BT Directory Inquiries, BT is British Telecom, Directory Inquiries, they said, I want a knitwear company in Woven. And the operator says, Woven, are you sure? The caller says, yes, that's what it says in label, Woven in Scotland. So that's a kind of humour. That's Scottish humour for you. Okay, this particular...
There you have it. That's Ron Goldie from Scott Pub Radio, scottpub.com. He's from Haddington, Scotland. So thanks a lot, Ron.
I say that Chris Brake. Chris Brake.
Put that on the intro.
I wonder if when he gets excited, if it elaborates the break. Because I knew this guy, I worked with him. He was, I guess you'd call him Senegalese, if that's the word. He was from Senegal. And they speak kind of a weird, French. And one day they say the word red coat. His pants were red, and he was trying to illustrate to me how red these guys' pants were. And he said, man, they were red. But in his French accent, it was the craziest thing I've ever heard, because he said, man, those pants were red. I just blew out the speakers doing that. I apologize if I blew out your speakers in your car, but he said, red, man. We need some French people. We need to see if they, we got to get some French guys on and illustrate the whole red man. So I didn't understand that joke. So a guy calls an operator and says, connect me to the hospital in Woven. And she said, Woven? He said, yes, Woven. That's what we call it in Weevils. Or what did...
Well, yeah, you know what I mean.
No question to you. For example, a caller to the BT Directory Inquiries. BT is British Telecom, Directory Inquiries. They said, I want a knitwear company in Woven. And the operator, Woven. I want a knitwear company in Woven.
A knitwear
and
company?
The operator says, Woven, are you sure? The caller says, yes, that's what it says in label, Woven in Scotland. So that's a kind of humour. That's Scottish humour.
I thought he said network company.
And it sounds like that too.
Knitwork.
Knitwork and he's calling Woven. That's the joke, right?
Okay, so you'd say I was called the operator for, I wanted a shirt making, a sweater company. I called for a sweater company in Woven.
Right.
And she said, Woven, are you sure? And the punchline is, what's the punchline?
It says, Woven, are you sure? The caller says, yes, that's what it says in label, Woven in Scotland. So
that's what it says in Weevil, Woven in Scotland. I guess I think he's talking about the tag on it, maybe the tag on the sweater or something. It says Woven in Scotland. So
that's part of the joke, Woven. That's what it says in Weevil, Woven in Scotland.
Yeah, maybe we're going to have to ask him what Weevil means or what exactly he's saying there. It sounds like a Scottish term.
Yeah, I'd like to hear American version to these jokes.
Yeah.
Like, I'd like to hear him do some, like, lighter, just met her, you know what I mean? Like,
right, that's what she said jokes.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Right.
Oh, God, I wish I could do accents. That's the one thing I wish I could do in my life. Accents.
Just put your mind to it, man. Put an hour in a day just making silly voices. I bet you'll be good.
I don't think I can do that. Sometimes I can't do it. Sometimes I'll practice my Morgan Freeman impression, but it doesn't sound very good.
I think it does.
It depends on...
You guys let us know what you think of Chris's Morgan
that sounds
Freeman.
horrible.
I think it sounds good.
It's that Morgan Freeman is the new walk-in,
Yeah, everybody's got one.
Everybody's doing a Morgan Freeman Morgan Freeman impression. I try. But sometimes I lay in bed at night and we'll spend, a good, say a good 10 minutes just speaking out loud to myself and Morgan Freeman.
Oh, okay. So you are practicing. There you go. Maybe that's why it's so good.
There's no excuse for why it's so bad. You know?
Yeah.
I need to get Josh Robert Thompson to help me out there. I don't know why I'm talking about Josh Robert Thompson. He's got a new article in Playboy, the voice of Jeff Peterson. That's pretty cool.
What does he talk about in there?
What do you think he talks about, man? The same thing he always talks about.
What does he always talk about?
How nobody knows who he is.
Oh, right, yeah. He always complaining about no one knows who he is.
Yeah, the same thing he always talks about. Nobody knows who he is. Well, I know who he is.
Yeah.
But that's not good enough. And so,
not good enough for Mr. Thompson.
Sometimes you feel that way when you're a fan of somebody. I hope I don't give off this impression to people. But sometimes when you're a fan of someone and they always complain that they want people to know who they are and they want to be bigger and bigger, and then when you're a fan, you kind of get upset because it's like, well, what the hell am I, chopped liver?
Right.
You know, it's like, I'm your fan, dude. You know, like, am I not good enough? Is it not good enough that us and all these other 20,000 people on Facebook follow you and like you?
Yeah, some people, it's never enough for some people. You got to back it off sometimes. Be thankful for what you got.
I hope I don't give off that impression.
I don't think so.
I got a habit, though, of giving off impressions that I didn't know I was giving off.
Yeah, well, some people are a little bit too sensitive, so you need to meet somewhere in the middle with that.
I can't talk to people on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, I can't. I'm horrible at it because I'm too short. I'm too short. Even on text messages, I'm too short and to the point.
Right.
You know? And I don't try and write like a 15-year-old. You know, I just, yes, no, that sounds good, or you should do this.
Right.
Or don't do that. People don't like the don't do that.
Yeah, they don't like being told what to do, especially this guy, Sean Fortenbaugh, who's calling. Pick it up.
A 40-ounce pimp?
Yeah.
Yeah, pick it up. See what he's got to say.
Yeah.
Yo, what's up?
Yo.
40-ounce pimp on the line. What do you got to say, sir?
I'm sorry about that. I had to defuse the situation. It's my friend with his girlfriend, my ex-girlfriend, and he came over and had a couple beers or whatever, which isn't a problem or whatever. That wasn't the situation. It wasn't that he was getting drunk with me, where it was she was being a bitch, and not to defend him because he's hit her before, but he put all her stuff outside of my house like I want to deal with that. And then we got them yelling like, her yelling like a banshee in front of my neighbors, like I want to get evicted or deal with that shit. So my phone connection sucks balls. So I had to plug that in and try to figure out how to get a hold of, I guess, on Facebook or whatever, like Ajay Riggs or whatever. He's like, I'll get their number back for you, whatever. It's like, I'm not even that drunk. I drank like 4 beers and like a couple hits of pot and shit, and like, they're yelling at each other in the middle of the street, and I'm like, well, who do I have to fuck up next?
Wow, man, that's pretty intense.
So what you're referring to is when I was talking to you before we went on the air, and I was trying to help you figure out Skype.
I just figured it out now. I guess I got a Skype account now, which is fine, which will make it better for future broadcasts.
Yeah, it's very cool, man.
Yeah, you sound great.
We got to get Warren Rodwell on here, man.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we gotta let you go and get Warren Rodwell real quick.
You don't have to let me go. Just talk to him. I'm just gonna sit right here and chill for a minute. I gotta take a breather after all that interaction.
All right,
that sounds good.
Try to add him on the.
Yeah, we'll try and add him. If it starts to get real loud, we might have to hang up, but we'll leave you on.
No, that's fine.
I'm looking forward to this. Now we got Skype. We're trying to get all the callers hooked up on Skype.
Yeah, man.
Our Skype name is Chris Break Show. One word if you want to get in on this. We got some sort of Skype party happening. We're now going to speak to...
Is my video connection coming through to you?
I don't know. We don't use video.
Yeah, I can see the video, but we don't have video. We just have audio.
We're about to talk to Warren Rodwell, who was...
I was just wondering if it came up or not.
Kidnapped for... Hey.
Warren Rodwell from Australia.
Hey, I can actually see you.
That's not us.
Oh, okay.
That's another guy.
Right.
That's the 40-ounce pimp.
He's a handsome devil. You're allowed to smoke inside in your country.
Yeah, in your own house still, you're allowed to smoke. So how you get...
We just, not to interrupt, we had a little bit of a ruckus there for a minute. I'm all right now. Go ahead and do your thing, buddy.
Okay, hey, look, I've got a coded message first for anyone trying to intercept this transmission. Yeah,
okay.
You never know who's watching. All right.
Right.
God didn't make little green apples and it don't rain in Indianapolis in the summertime. Is that true?
Ooh, that's very cryptic.
That is not true.
Isn't it?
Doesn't it change? Don't those lyrics change? Those are interesting lyrics. You pointed those out to me the first time we talked, and I had not heard that song. My father did. I asked him about that, and he started singing the whole song. But I don't believe that's true. I believe that's a stereotype that is wrong. It rains.
It goes on to say there's no such thing as Dr. Zeus, Disneyland, and Mother Goose are just fairy tales.
What is that song from?
It's called Little Green Apples. And I think when we spoke before, wasn't there a band that recently toured Indianapolis, and they were the original singers, like the Drifters or someone like that?
I don't know, man. You'd have to look that up.
No, I remember this conversation. It was it the Temptations?
That's it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they were just in Indianapolis not too long ago. And you're in Queensland, right?
Yeah, Brisbane, Queensland.
So what? Go ahead.
Very soon, within the next week or two, right? The G20 conference is going to be on in Brisbane.
Oh.
So already we're starting to hear all the military helicopters flying around. Right? The city's being cordoned off, right? And Australia's at a high terrorist alert.
Wow.
Okay, so things are getting serious here. Same as in the States. Right? But hey, I checked. Indianapolis, is that the crossroads of America?
Yes, it is.
Car racing capital of the world?
Yes, it is. Now, I don't know if it's the crossroads of America anymore. At the time, though, that was because all the trains ran through Indianapolis. So if you were going anywhere, you'd have to stop in Indianapolis. But
all right.
Now the train system is kind of obsolete.
Who the fuck is this guy?
Warren Rodwell.
Silicon Valley of the Midwest.
We need an introduction here, man. This is Warren Rodwell. He was kidnapped by terrorists for 15 months, and then he was released. He's from Australia.
Are you shitting me?
No joke, man. That's some real life stuff that he went through. He's got a really great attitude about it, though.
Yeah, what terrorist? Hold on, I got
it's all in the mind. Don't worry about it.
Hold on. Without me talking, without my drunk rock.
Exactly. Right. It was just a figment of the imagination.
I want to hear a little bit more of your story.
Well,
we already covered it.
We did that last time, right?
Right.
This time we're moving on to completely new ground. Okay.
Yeah, well, I'll send you that episode, 40. You can check it out, man. It's very good. But this time, we're going to have Warren talk about what other countries' stereotypes.
I didn't say anything about sending the past episodes. I want to know who this guy is, who I'm talking to. What?
Yeah.
Warren Rodwell. He's on like 2 episodes ago. We spoke to him.
Just Google the name.
Yeah,
it's all over it.
That is the perfect solution.
I'm not gonna Google shit. I have a heart. Dude, it took me. I had people fighting in front of my house and fucking cops and shit just to get on to the interview. So I mean, just fucking tell me your story now. Let it be known in public your story, and let me get a better understanding of who you are.
Okay. Hold on. I'll give it to you in about.
Dale J. Gordon's on the phone now.
Hold on, we're getting crazy.
We got a little fustercluck going on here.
So here's what's going on. 40, all you have to do.
I want to hear a little bit more of your story.
I think somebody has their radio playing. Somebody needs to get that under control.
This time,
right?
moving on to completely new ground.
Yeah, somebody turned their radio off.
I'll send you that episode.
This is getting chaotic.
That is very good, but this time we're going to have Warren talk about... Oh, who is that?
I think it's Dale.
I don't know.
Dale, do you have the radio playing?
Dale J. Gordon signing on.
Okay, here's the situation. 40... hold on, what the hell? I feel like I got voices running through my head here. I kind of like this chaotic nature. I like this chaotic nature. Here's the rules.
Synthetic LSD.
Here's the rules. Only one person talks at a time. Warren Rodwell, what's his name? 40-ounce Pimp lives in, I believe he's in Pennsylvania or New Jersey. I'm not sure.
I'm back.
Alabama, maybe?
Alabama. He is America. This guy is America.
Yeah.
All right.
He sounds like a shining star.
And we got
model.
And we got Nashville recording artist Dale J. Gordon on the phone as well, and Warren Rodwell. Chris Blake, John. It's crazy. 40, we're going to have to hang up on you if you keep fucking screaming like that. I swear to God.
For the love of God, I feel like I'm on psychedelics.
That's what I'm talking about. It's getting crazy here on the ChrisBreakShow.com. So Warren Rodwell, what exactly is the biggest stereotype of Americans? Like, people think Americans, like, do they not like us?
Fuck no.
You can hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, Chris, look, the big one is from an outside point of view, stereotyping, right? The one word that describes Americans, right, from an outside view is a stereotype. Brash. B-R-A-S-H.
Okay.
Huh? You know that word? You heard that word before?
Brash. That means harsh, right? Or no?
Yeah, just because it really, what underlies it is your freedom of speech. Right? Is that your Fourth Amendment right?
Yeah. Is that Fourth Amendment or is that
first
second?
or the second?
Whatever it was, whatever number it was, because when
First Amendment,
when out
right?
in
I
when
think
out
so.
in the world,
This is a
probably
good
the First
example.
Amendment.
Americans are ignorant.
We don't know our own amendments, man. First Amendment is the freedom of speech. Okay.
Am I right to carry guns?
Number
Now,
two.
is that a stereotype? Is that intentional? Put this stereotype guy in the background.
No, he wanted to be on today. He sent me messages and said,
I don't have a problem at all. Okay.
All right.
Hey, but this the First Amendment right, if that's what it is, freedom of speech. Whenever travelling abroad, you have to wait somewhere. Customs control, border gates, or whatever. Then all of a sudden, a voice booms out, and guess what? Everybody else stands back quietly, and they think that could be somebody exercising their First Amendment right. And but how much do these rights apply when you're outside your own country?
So you're saying in America, if somebody starts yelling, everybody just doesn't really care because they just assume it's just some guy. Some guy's allowed.
Just stand back and keep quiet
because he's allowed to yell.
And if anything, they look the other way.
Definition of brash.
Oh.
Hey?
Self-assertive in a rude, noisy, or overbearing way.
So you're saying, so Americans are self-assertive in a noisy and loud, what was it, way?
Rude, noisy, overbearing, pushy.
I'm not
You're not
really
saying
so
that.
much expressing it as a personal opinion. I'm trying to be objective on it, right?
Brash.
I think you're doing a good job. I think you're doing a good job. I'm not on the right or on the left, but there would be no anti-America bashing on my show.
He's not anti.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing is gun culture. All right.
Yeah.
If you talk to an American outside, America, then they're telling you what a great person they are. Then they get a bit homesick, and they say, "I love my guns."
Yeah.
I miss my guns.
Yeah.
That's another thing that gets people to go quiet.
See that's what seems strange to me, Warren, is that in Australia, are you not allowed to own guns?
Look, back in about 1996, some idiot went crazy and went to a big tourist area and started shooting everyone. Right?
That happens here all the time.
I don't know how many people he did, how many he shot. I don't remember. But then after that, the government implemented a program to buy back all the guns.
Oh.
So you can only be a member of a shooting club. Now, what you just mentioned about shooting, and it happens, you're saying it happens all the time. The news that we get beamed to us regularly, about the United States is there's been another school shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They send that here too. That's another thing here. That's always all in the news. Anytime that happens.
Now look, as I've mentioned before, I don't, I don't have a problem at all with Americans. I think they're great. Do you remember the guy, Crocodile Dundee?
Yeah, yes.
Paul Hogan.
Back in the day when he was doing his promotion.
You think that's a knife, mate? This is a knife.
Yeah. You think that's a knife? This is a knife.
That's him. Yeah, you've got him. Now,
Paul Hogan.
Crocodile Dundee, Paul Hogan, he was the sort of the promotional guy for Australian tourism many years ago. But he got interviewed on Australian television, And they asked him, he said, "Yeah, what do you think of America?" Because he's doing the promotional stuff, the shrimp on the Barbie business. So Paul Hogan said, "Look, I love America. Yeah, if I wasn't born in Australia, I'd like to be born in America, and then I'd migrate to Australia."
Oh.
At least, Chris, at least this video doesn't have all the beep beep beeps in it or whatever. Remember when me and Dale were running off or whatever? I was on that whatever in Alabama, that fucked up fucking Gmail.
Yeah, it sounds better
that was
now.
a beep 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 thing.
I couldn't hear shit. This one's gonna be a lot better. I'm talking, you guys talking.
I know you're talking. Hey, First Amendment rights don't matter on this fucking show, all right?
Freedom of speech. That's a motherfucking.
All right, we need to get this guy under
Warren,
control.
Lock your ass up quick.
Warren, what do other countries think about Americans and their guns? You said that guns is a big one, but what do they think about that? Do they support us having guns? Do they think we should not have guns?
I don't think anybody really agrees with it, because the problem is that when you put a gun in someone's hand, they don't have to have any personal negotiation skills, do they?
Right.
No.
We've got somebody, and all due respect to this other guy you've got on the line, and he's making his comments. But if he was standing in,
I'm an avid hunter.
Hey, 40.
You do that.
Yeah,
you do that, pal.
Hey, 40. Guess what, buddy? You got one closing thought, and then we gotta let you go. What is it?
I don't have the closing thought. Let's let this roll. I think this is a good fucking conversation. Let your boy talk. I'm just chilling.
All right.
Okay, you just chill. Let me chill out for a while, pal. Now, if you were in a group of men in, just say, in the world internationally, and if someone kept butting in all the time, the others would probably not regard that individual's freedom of speech over the rights of the whole group.
Right.
Is that being polite enough or diplomatic enough?
It is. And Americans, I mean, I was taught that in journalism in high school, our rights are as free as, we can take our rights as free as not harming other people. Like, our rights are limited by everybody else's rights, we can't.
Well, that's what is that? The Constitution, the right, or what is it? The pursuit of
happiness.
Shit.
Life, liberty,
the advantage I have.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, as long as your pursuit of happiness does not inflict on the rights of other people's pursuit of happiness. Something along those lines.
Right.
Yeah. Now, a fortunate thing I have in my advantage, I've been, I taught university in China for many years. But the thing I would explain when we look at different cultures, Western cultures, and let's compare the British and the Americans, right? Because you have British English and American English. When people view the British, right, they often seem to think that the British reserved, very reserved, maybe rude, and they don't talk. Right? But the British pride themselves on being reserved. Yeah, that's stoic, stiff upper lip in the time of hardship. But they keep quiet. Now, on the other extreme with the American, because of the freedom of speech, they just let it flow.
Hey,
some of it is just uncontrolled. Now, in between there, Chris, those two things, that's where the Australians come in. Because we're influenced by both cultures, because of certainly in the past television and that, what we usually do is, we usually keep quiet long enough till we know what we're talking about.
Right.
Whether it's safe to open your mouth.
Americans don't do that.
Yeah, well, sometimes we do, sometimes we don't.
Yeah, not all of us are the same.
I'd say 40-ounce Pimp was a prime example of that. Dale, what are your thoughts?
Oh, well, I've been reserved this whole time.
There you go. The balance.
I like to speak for Americans and say that we are capable of keeping quiet and listening. It's region to region, upbringing, all that, influencing factors. But yeah, we're loudmouth at the end of the day. Sure.
I think America has the whole "fuck you" mentality, which is, "You gonna fuck with me? Fuck you."
Yeah, well, what that's about, Chris, is it's the context, the cultural context. You have it in language as well. Yeah, the America is to the extreme of what's called low context culture. Yeah, in interaction, and that is there's big emphasis placed on the individual. Right? Yeah, I am. Yeah, who do you think I am? I am me. You don't know, who are you talking to? You don't know me, right? I can say whatever I like. My needs come first before anyone else. So it's when they speak to the extreme, right? It's, again, we're generalizing. To the extreme, the message coming across is few words, lots of meaning. Time is money. Cut to the chase. Are you with me?
Yes.
To the other extreme, let's say it's Northeastern Asians, Chinese, Japanese. Apparently Arabs, go this way too. It's lots of words, little meaning. Because they're developing a relationship the same way you would talk when you're with your family, with your own family and friends.
Right. They spend time developing a relationship, and Americans think that's a waste of time. They want to get down to business.
Hence the term small talk. Maybe.
Oh, there you go.
And that's part of the idea. Like it's known, say, with the Chinese, or Japanese. But if you're going to do business with them, what you would do, you go to dinner. Pull out your photos of your family and talk about that. Then at the end of the day, the Westerner walks away thinking, "Oh, I wonder,
If somebody shows me pictures of their family, I gotta leave the room.
Really?
Yeah, because remember, we're all about privacy. Australia is not much different with the States, except instead of being
kangaroos.
Huh?
Yeah,
Kangaroos.
I thought we hung up on him.
Yeah,
absolutely. No, keep him there. Kangaroo. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's it.
I thought we hung up on him.
We had them jumping down the main street.
No, you don't gotta hang up.
I don't care if he's there.
Now, he's getting on my fucking nerves, man. He said he said at the beginning he was going to sit here. He's like, nah, you go ahead and call him. He's like, I'll sit here politely and listen. Bullshit. Kangaroos and fucking, man, you got him excited when you mentioned Crocodile Dundee.
Yeah, he did. People like Crocodile Dundee here.
Thank God you didn't say anything about Steve Irwin, or he might have lost his shit. He might have got really excited.
We all mourned Steve Irwin here, too.
Yeah. Actually, where I live is not so far away from Australia Zoo. That's where Steve Irwin is, or his family in the zoo is. Or he's you know what I mean. We know Steve Irwin got eaten by a crocodile or whatever. So that point I'm making, like these cultural thing. Now, with the Australians being sort of in between, the white Australians, I'm saying, being in between culturally of the British and the Americans. Australians can be quite brash as well. But I forget what the word. It's a little bit watered down, the stereotype for the Australian, right? It's not quite brash. It's something a bit maybe coarse. Could be it. Right?
But I picture drinking. I picture drinking and loud.
Yeah, that's what it is. So it's that. It is those things I've just mentioned. Now, I made a note here somewhere. It was about, certainly there's individualism. The other thing I noticed, I was in South America a few years ago as part of a UN development program. It was to helping with teaching English in the schools. And most of my colleagues, if you like, on the training course, there was about 130 of us, and most of them were Americans. Around 25 or so, they've done their university degrees. But one thing I noticed in the classroom, nobody answers any questions. So then if you happen to ask something, someone will say to you, afterwards, they say, I'm glad you asked that, because I was wondering. Now, what I sort of observed, are you okay then?
Yeah, I don't know what that is. It sounds like your feedback somewhere. It might be Dale's.
Yeah, I'm echoing. Now, what I noticed is when...
I don't know what that is. I know it probably makes it hard for you to talk.
I don't mind. I'll ignore it. What I noticed is because I had taught for some years, you try to encourage people in the classroom to say something, to interact, to contribute.
Right.
But when anyone did say something, it was tentative. If they said something, others would start shooting them down.
Where are we talking about?
In the classroom environment.
You say most of them were Americans.
In an American classroom environment, people were afraid to speak their mind, come up with ideas or whatever. Yeah,
because somebody else would straight away jump up and shoot them down in flames. But most of the people that were making the criticism, shooting down in flames, had no idea what they're talking about.
Wow.
Yeah, it seems like the loudest people are usually the ones with the lowest IQ. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, even if someone else might have been correct, then if someone's asked something, they don't want to speak up because they think, oh, I might look dumb. And from a teaching point of view, you want students. So ask me questions, right? I don't care if it's dumb, whatever. That's what we can all grow in this experience, you know.
Right.
Then, when I was a small kid in school, the teachers would jump on anyone in the classroom if they belittled someone, because they'd say, let the person speak, right? Let them ask their question, because they're wanting to learn.
Yeah, I think they're trying to work on that now here. They got all these big anti-bullying campaigns. I don't remember bullying being a huge problem. I think the internet took it to a whole nother level, and that's where the cyberbullying is really the problem here. I don't remember bullying being that big of a problem.
Well, the last comment on that, in my observation, Chris, was now whoever was being bullied, ganged up against, right? Before too long, the person being victimised, of course, would be sad because usually a she's not as beautiful as the rest or something else like that. But as soon as the opportunity arose to be accepted within, say, the sorority, right, that person will turn into a total bitch herself.
All right.
Yeah.
Right? Then just perpetuate it.
I think you're talking about the plot of Mean Girls there, Lindsay Lohan. You know what I'm saying?
Can I ask a question?
I use she, because I'm
Go
instead
ahead,
of he.
Dale.
But,
Dale said he's got a question
Dale
for
J.
you.
Gordon.
yeah, go.
Hello, Warren. Nice to meet you. I really enjoyed your interview the other week.
Oh, great. Yeah.
I'm Dale. I was just curious if you had visited the States or spent any time here, and what the difference between what is being beamed to you by the media versus actually visiting the land, and whether or not the things like art and science and literature that you guys, research and create and make developments in, that how your personality as a country comes through in that versus what the mainstream media decides that the rest of the world gets to see.
Okay. I'll break that down in the parts you first
I
asked.
feel like we're in a lecture now. Like
He is a teacher.
Oh, really? Okay, go ahead, Warren. Sorry.
Well, Dale sounds as though he's got a reasonable degree of education, and he thought out his question well.
Yeah, Dale's a smart dude.
I could be flippant.
I think putting 40 ounce might have shot us in the foot there.
Yeah, don't judge us all.
Yeah. Hey, no, look, the first thing really, no matter which country it may be, if you're going to compare something, you have to consider first whether it's going to be a developed area, a metropolitan area, or a country town, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because let's just consider the idea of racism anywhere. Right? Racism tends to exist more in small communities rather than in large cities. People that move into areas, into other countries, and they live there, right? They blend in because the major cities, tend to have a lot of different ethnic groups. I noticed earlier when I was just researching Indianapolis, you've got a fairly high percentage, or actually it seems to have a majority of white people in Indianapolis. Is that correct?
Yeah, I believe so.
I believe it.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, then there was about a 30% of blacks, right? The Asians you seem to have a small proportion of, or Hispanics.
Did they have Burmese in there?
Oh, that's Asian. That'd be
Chin?
classified as Asian.
They would be, because that's something that's been happening in Indianapolis, is that they're taking the Chins out of any country that they're in and bringing them directly to Indianapolis, not just the United States, but Indianapolis, and they're dropping them all off here. So we're getting a really big population of Chins.
Okay, and Chins are what? Chinese, are they?
They're
Burmese, right?
They're Burmese.
Oh, okay. That's the tribal or ethnic.
Yeah, not all
minority.
Chins. Not all Chins are Burmese, but all Burmese are Chins.
Okay,
If that makes sense.
I I have actually been to Burma or Myanmar a couple of times.
Yeah, and they're the people who were being
okay, so look,
persecuted and raped and all that. You know what I mean? Like, they're the ones who were just being tortured, and now supposedly we're the international good guy and we're picking them all up and bringing them here to Indianapolis. Okay, go ahead.
Now, as for Dale's other part of his question about the arts and the sciences, certainly arts and sciences, that's a pretty broad category, saying the arts, right, and science. But if I thought, I'll take it, sort of how I hear it first, with the word arts, if you said art only, right, and looking at art somewhere, right, what you see is the history of a country. And it depends on the influences at the time as to how the stuff is painted, doesn't it? If you look at some of the early works, it's probably, to do with, a big influence of, religion or, witch hunts or something else like that. As for the science, arts and science, well, America's right up there with everybody else, of course, so,
That's good to
hear. Yeah, but...
we export a lot of entertainment. How's our entertainment? Are we really good at that?
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Well, hey, at least we got something right over here, right?
Yeah, well, look, what is really perceived as being American culture? Yeah, American culture is gun culture, right? Hollywood culture.
Gangster movies. Gangster films.
Yeah, well, that's a genre, yeah.
I want to know. I want to know about the creamies, because that's all I know about. I want to know how offensive that term is, because that's the only thing I really know about Australia is Steve Irwin, Michael J. Crocodile Dundee, and Baz Luhrmann, and that film Australia, where they with all the mixed, the interracial, like tribal children,
Okay, yeah.
Is creamies a really offensive term, or is that just something from the movie?
You'll have to spell that word. I'm not sure if I've heard that one.
Creamy. It's like black and white mixed. They call them creamies.
Oh, okay. I think that might have been made for that movie.
Wise choice, because if that was an American film, they just would have thrown the N-word in there.
Look, I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's okay to call someone black in America. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
That's okay.
We're not
allowed to use that word in Australia.
Some people have a problem with it, but that's...
Once collared was preferred over black. Black was considered too brash or abrasive, I think, and I grew up, and at least in the 80s and 90s, saying colored, or I go to school with a colored girl, and there weren't many of them in West Virginia. But I was corrected not only a handful of years ago that black was now PC and that colored was offensive. So you almost have to keep up with it, like what's in style, fashionable.
So you were actually...
So look, the next point I was going to make on from what Dale commented before, apart from cities and towns as the attitudes anywhere, the other thing is generally the attitude of people anywhere in any country is firstly determined by their geographical location.
Okay.
Now, the ones that I'd find would usually be the most mellow people, the sweetest to get along with, is if they live near a coastal area, plenty of green grass, and dairy cattle, right? Grazing.
That sounds fairly reasonable.
Yeah, that sounds nice.
Yeah, now, if you compare that to somebody that lives in a desert town, it's the environment to start with, isn't it?
Right.
The harsh environment. Now, you probably don't need to give you this tip, right? But if you want to meet girls, go to an area where there's water. Live near the coast or near a lake, and I believe you're not so far away in Indianapolis from the one of those big lakes there, aren't you? One of those great lakes?
Lake Michigan?
It seems really far away. But yeah, there is a Lake Michigan in Chicago there. It's pretty close.
But if you want to travel somewhere in the world, I'll give you an example, say Austria in Germany, next to Germany, Strasbourg, it's where the Sound of Music was made. Right? They've got some lakes there. Go there. Lots of women, right, traveling there.
Yeah, Austrian women. That's something I'd like to check out. That sounds like a good place to go. Hold on, wait. So you can't say the word black? Is that what you said?
We're not permitted to say that.
Permitted? Like,
these days,
it's not against the law, is it?
We do have anti-discrimination laws.
Well,
I'll put the focus on Australians now.
Well, we have laws
when I've met
against...
Australians,
we have laws against hate crimes.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
you can still you can still call a black person the N-word. I'm pretty sure. That's
Okay.
your God-given right.
Yeah, which no one recommends
Okay,
doing. We
haven't
don't
got-
endorse that. but-
Yeah, you'll get killed doing that.
We haven't got to the hate laws yet, but we're getting there because there is a lot of hatred within our society, and a lot of example of it. But what I was going to say is when I've been, as an expatriate and lived out of Australia for a number of years, you become analytical of your own language in your own country and others that speak the same language as you, because if you teach it, because you're hearing it through others' ears, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
And if they're looking blank, British English from actually England is difficult to understand because there is a lot of slang used, rhyming slang. And also, only 3 to 5% of the people in England actually speak Oxford English.
Right.
Whereas the difficulty when listening to someone that is using American English is you're not using slang so much, but you are using a lot of cliches.
Oh, really?
Yeah, go ahead, make my day.
No,
And
no
you
one
say-
says that.
No,
I know.
Nobody says that.
Nobody
But
says-
go ahead, mate.
Okay, or hasta la vista.
Right. No, nobody says that here in the States. Like, you would get laughed out of the room saying something like that.
Do you guys say go ahead, mate? You guys say mate a lot, right? No? Am I
Yes,
being-
that is used a lot.
Am I being offensive?
Same as you'd use buddy.
Right.
Yeah,
Or man.
Buddy, a friend, pal.
Dude,
Yeah.
bro,
Yeah,
brother.
that sort of stuff. Yeah. I try not to use, I'll think of the word for it.
What about crikey?
The local jargon, because I've just spent a lot of time out of the country and nobody really understands what you're talking about.
Right.
Crikey.
Now you have a
And-
Starbucks joke. Do you want to tell that Starbucks joke?
Oh, yeah, sure. Okay. Got to ask this years ago. And actually, John updated the joke for me recently. John Rapp did from your show.
It was
Yeah.
McDonald's, not Starbucks.
That's it. So, look, how do you calculate the population of an American city or town?
How?
Dale, any guesses?
How many Starbucks they have on one street?
Close. You count the number of Starbucks, then divide by 4.
I told him that wasn't as funny as it is true. I mean, that's pretty much probably how they,
I thought you multiply it by 4. I know. What does that mean? To take the
Okay,
numbers?
yeah, you've got it. You're faster than me this morning or today or last night, whatever it is.
Right.
You're way ahead of me.
That was a funnier joke, though, than the Scottish one.
Yeah, that Scottish joke went way over our heads.
Yeah, this one we could understand. I heard a long time ago, I was listening to talk radio, and I heard this, they were doing like a quiz, and I found it very fascinating. It was all about Americans, and the question was, you call in and, you win like $1,000 if you get it right. And the question was, it was like more than 50% of Americans, no, maybe it was 80. Yeah, let's make up statistics, okay?
It sounds good.
It was 74% of Americans live within 50 miles of this. What is it? It was a huge percentage. Like 74% of Americans live within 50 miles of
Had to
this.
be McDonald's. It had to.
That was my guess.
Or Dunkin' Donuts.
I had a guess like that. Yeah, it was a McDonald's or a Starbucks, but that was not the answer. The answer was kind of sadder. Or maybe it's positive. I don't know. The answer was their hometown.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, we don't travel very much.
Well, look, I was just going to make the comment that, in all fairness to Americans, you don't see many of them out in the world. Apparently, only 20% have passports.
Yeah, I believe it. I don't have one.
But one of the reasons why is because you have a very big, diverse country. So there's lots of things. There's lots of things you can do within your own country. Yeah. Also,
made me
too.
feel better.
Yeah. Also, too, you've got Canada. You've got Canada right next door, right? And you've also got Mexico, Central America. So for that part of the world, right, you're in a separate part. The main people that tend to travel, the prolific travellers, tend to be the British, the Germans, the Dutch, the Aussies for their lesser numbers, and the Canadians.
Okay.
Yeah, but there was a period of time, certainly within the last 10 years, what a lot of people when travelling were doing is, Americans, they were putting Canadian flags on their backpacks or their shirts or whatever.
They'd rather be seen as Canadians than American in the rest of the world.
It was because they were getting so much hatred from other people.
Wow, I don't like that. That makes me feel bad.
Oh, that happens. That's real common.
Now, with the Canadian, think of the Canadian in the sense of being little brother. Yeah, Canadians probably won't like that.
Yeah, they don't like that.
But,
yeah.
Okay, so the safest thing if you're traveling, if you're not American, if you meet someone that has an American accent, generally, you ask them, "Oh, are you from Canada?" Now, if I ask you, "Are you from Canada?" are you going to get upset about that?
No, I don't think so.
You
No.
just laugh it off. Oh, no, I'm from the States.
It's the same content or continent, same continent.
But the thing
North
is,
America.
it's a little brother syndrome.
Okay.
Canadians are
Ask
right.
someone that comes from New Zealand. From New Zealand. Are you from Australia? Oh, no, I'm New Zealand.
They can't stand that, can they?
Little brother complex. Ask an Australian, are they going to care? Oh, no, I'm from, They'll probably
It's separated by a big body of water, so they...
a fair amount. I heard one time the reason why apparently New Zealand was not invited to be part of Australia when the Commonwealth was formed in 1901 was because Australia had a white Australia policy. And they didn't want, because of the natives, a treaty between them, Australia didn't want, our white Australia policy went unofficially until about 1973. And the idea everyone was going to be British and they were going to be white. That's all changed now. On the same token, comparing to the States, when I've had colleagues, American colleagues, and especially anyone's, Afro-American, they try to ask the questions like, how are blacks viewed in your country?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. And the first thing they say, well, we have a different type of history.
Right.
The British came and settled, and that's my own ancestry. Right. The British needed a new dumping ground for their surplus population. So, and we're taught this in school. So what they did was they just opened fire on anything that moved, and they declared that Australia was an uninhabited country.
That's terrible.
So, now, there's been a lot of stuff in recent years. Instead of the word black being used now here, everybody is very proudly indigenous because there's,
I like that.
Now it's surfaced that because when you go out to a country where there's virtually nobody there, nobody mentioned in the past, I know when I was growing up, nobody mentioned that anybody interbred.
Mm.
But now everybody proudly, because if you go into gold fields or anything else like that, there's a shortage of water and all that sort of thing. Women you won't meet too many women there, will you?
Right.
Interbred.
Especially not white women.
Have you not seen that? Have you not seen that film Australia?
Yeah, I did see that. That's the one I think where they were weren't they doing the horses up to the Darwin got bombed at the end of it?
Yeah. But the whole movie was kind of about the whole race thing and the kids being confiscated by the country. Like the country would take, the interracial kids and lock them all up on an island.
Wow.
Yeah, I know what it's about. In the 1930s, we taught this in high school, this history. In the 1930s, it was believed that the way to breed out this black gene, right, was to interbreed. Now, even when I was in high school, how foolish that a white gene could outbreed a black gene, So that was the whole purpose. Take them away from their parents. They were called the stolen generation. So there has been. It took a long time, but they end up getting an apology from the federal government. And actually, there's significant parts of Australia now has been returned as native land titles.
Right.
But of course, look at your own history. Look at your own history with the States and the Indians.
We didn't give them really land. The land we gave them was shit. Like the land, we knew some Miami Indians, and we went and visited their land, and they showed it to us, and it was all useless. It was flood territory. Like there's nothing they could do there. They couldn't grow anything. They couldn't live there, and they
basically the thought that counts. I guess somebody thinks.
Yeah.
The other thing I've considered only in the last day or so when I was making some notes before I came on, of course, when you're talking about different cultures and stereotypes and influences, America logically working on logic, going further, is America would have had to have had a fairly strong French influence, particularly over there on the East Coast or the eastern side, because the joining Canada and so on. Do you think that could be correct?
I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on here.
Not a problem. So look, apart from the burbling sounds, someone hooking in and out, as you said before, you probably haven't researched your own history.
No, not too
or your own
much.
Culture.
I researched.
I'm looking for the book.
Well, we got to go. But I researched North Korea more than I researched America.
It's blame it on the schools, man. They're dumbing us down.
The schools have a way of our textbooks lie to us, and that they spin history in a way to where we aren't taught certain things. But Warren Rodwell, thank you so much for coming back on the show. Dale J. Gordon, thanks a lot,
Thanks
guys.
for having me.
All right. Thanks, Chris and John. And
Yeah, guys. Thanks
Nice
very
talking
much,
to you.
man. Bye-bye.
And the other guy, wherever he went.
He's gone. All right. I'd like to thank Darren Snyder at Indian Tune, Frank at Radio Foobar, John G at the 405, Kendall F. Person at the Public Blogger, and we got the Radio Mix.
Ron at Radio Max Music, Jeremy at Couch Potato Nation, Mark at Tangent Bound Network, Jack at the Mix FM, and Suma Peter at Loudtown Online Radio in Africa. They're playing the Chris Break Show in Africa, so thanks to you guys very much.
Yeah, go to chrisbrickshow.com. We got a PayPal there. Take care of us, we'll take care of you, if you know what I'm saying.
We got a Patreon if you want to go check that out. Look us up on Patreon or go to chrisbreakshow.com and click on support the show. There's a bunch of stuff you can do to help us out, even if you don't have money to donate.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for listening. Hit us up at Chris Brick Show, Twitter, we're everywhere, all those places. Go check us out.